Of course, human beings have a disturbing tendency to decide that whatever is profitable financially for them is also God's plan. So, while the motives may be dubious, Southern evangelicals genuinely believed that slavery was God's plan, a positive good. In the North, they went a different direction. Northern Second Great Awakening evangelicals also have a new view of slavery. Before the Second Great Awakening, the North had already banned slavery during and shortly after the American Revolution, and this was because of their belief in the principles of the American Revolution, in their belief in natural rights, in equality, the self-evident truth that all men are created equal, which to Southerners that excluded black people, but to Northerners, people are people. Northerners were racist. Most Northerners were racist and thought black people were inferior, but they did recognize them as humans, and so they saw slavery as a contradiction with the principles of the American Revolution. So for political reasons, slavery was already gone in the North. But the Second Great Awakening, causes Northern evangelicals to conclude that slavery is a sin. And Northern evangelicals feel like they are their brother's keeper. They are responsible for saving Southern blacks from slavery, responsible for helping Southern whites see that they're committing a sin by keeping slaves, by abusing slaves. So you have a new reform movement. This is William Lloyd Garrison. He is one of many in the new abolitionist movement. Abolitionists want to end slavery immediately. Now, abolitionists are pretty much all Northerners. There is no slavery in the North to end. They want to end slavery where it exists, in the South. Right? So these are Northerners who think slavery is wicked and believe that the North needs to convince the South, or maybe make the South, end slavery. Garrison publishes an abolitionist newspaper called The Liberator. He is one of many. There's lots of abolitionist newspapers. Now, some people were like, hey, Garrison, how are you going to do that? Because, how are you going to make the South give up slavery? Slavery is in the Constitution. Indeed, slavery was in the Constitution. The 3/5 clause gave the South extra power in the House and in the Electoral College as a reward for owning slaves. And, there was the Fugitive Slave Clause. These things make Garrison dismiss the Constitution as a covenant with death and an agreement with hell. Right? He wants slavery cut out of the Constitution the same way that he wants slavery cut out of the country. And he's not alone. Here is Frederick Douglass. Douglass was an escaped slave who came to the North and became an abolitionist speaker and writer. He wrote his autobiography. It was a bestseller. Then he wrote 3 more autobiographies that also sold well. He gave speeches against slavery both in the U.S. and in Britain, and he was accused of being unpatriotic because he criticized American slavery in Britain. This is his response to that. He said, I make no pretension to patriotism. So long as my voice can be heard on this or the other side of the Atlantic, I will hold up America to the lightning scorn of moral indignation. In doing this, I shall feel myself discharging the duty of a true patriot, for he is a lover of his country who rebukes and does not excuse its sins. It is righteousness that exalteth a nation, while sin is a reproach to any people. Right? So Douglass, firmly in the Second Great Awakening tradition, saying it's the job of a true patriot and, by extension, a true Christian, to see what's wrong with the country, call it out, and fix it. Slavery as sin, a sin that needs to be removed, repaired. Douglass also believed, Douglass didn't just want to free the slaves and get equality for white and black people, he also wanted equality for women. He wrote, "Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the father of us all, and we are all brethren." This was, in fact, the slogan of Douglass's newspaper. He, too, publishes an abolitionist newspaper. And his newspaper is fighting for all these causes. Now, he is not the first person to champion women's rights. He's one of the first. The abolitionist movement actually gives birth to the anti-slavery movement. There's many women in the abolitionist movement as well, fighting against slavery, and as they think about slavery and racism and all the ways that it hurts black folks, they also recognized some parallels, that women, in a sense, were slaves back then, unequal under the law. And so some abolitionists, many women, and some men, like Frederick Douglass, come to conclude that they want to fight for women's rights too. And we will talk about the new women's rights movement next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.